On the morning of June 30th, 1908, the sky over Siberia didn't just light up. It split in two. A fireball brighter than the sun descended on the Tunguska River. In a single second, it released the energy of 1,000 Hiroshima bombs. It flattened 80 million trees. It shattered windows 4 miles away, and then silent. Physics tells us that when a rock hits a planet, it leaves a scar. We see it on the moon, we see it in Arizona. But here's the glitch in the Tunguska story. There is no hole, no crater, no massive meteorite sitting in the ground. An object capable of wiping out a major city simply vanished into thin air. How? Because the region was so remote, a frozen hellscape of swamps and mosquitoes. It took humanity 19 years to even look for the impact site. When Leonid Kulik finally arrived in 1927, he expected to find a giant meteorite made of iron. Instead, he found a scene that looked less like a crash and more like a crime scene. Kulik found the Telegraph Forest. Directly under the epicenter, the trees weren't knocked down. They were stripped naked, burned of their branches and bark, standing upright like skeletons. Surrounding them for miles, millions of other trees were knocked flat, pointing away from a center that contained absolutely nothing. This wasn't just a Siberian problem. Thousands of miles away in London, the night sky turned so bright you could read a newspaper at midnight without a street lamp. Dust from the explosion had reached our upper atmosphere, wrapping the globe in a ghostly phosphorescent glow. The world was watching, but nobody knew what they were looking at. Eyewitness S. Semenov was sitting on his porch 40 miles away. He reported that the sky split open and fire covered the forest. The heat was so intense he felt like his shirt was on fire. The shockwave threw him from his chair. If this had happened over London, Paris, or New York, millions would have died in an instant. The leading theory is an airburst. Scientists believe a stony asteroid, about 50 meters wide, entered our atmosphere and couldn't handle the pressure. It detonated 5 miles up, turning its kinetic energy into a thermal shockwave. It explains the lack of a crater. It explains the flattened trees. But it doesn't explain everything. Some researchers argue a rock would have left some fragments. They propose it was a comet, a giant dirty snowball. A comet would vaporize instantly upon explosion, leaving no trace but water, vapor, and dust. It fits the White Knight's theory perfectly. But comets are usually detected weeks in advance. This one arrived with zero warning. In 1945, after the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, Russian sci-fi writer Alexander Kazantsev noticed something terrifying. The devastation in Japan looked exactly like the photos from Tunguska, the standing trees, the radial burns, the shadows. He was the first to ask, did a nuclear explosion happen on Earth before we invented the bomb? Enter the Tesla theory. In 1908, Nikola Tesla was testing his death ray, a wireless energy weapon. Records show that in the weeks before the blast, Tesla requested maps of the Siberian wasteland. Did he fire an energy pulse that overshot its target? Or did he intercept an incoming asteroid to save the world? The timing is, suspicious. For a century, we thought there was no crater. We might be wrong. 5 miles from the epicenter lies Lake Checo. It is deep, cone-shaped, and doesn't appear on any map before 1908. Italian researchers believe this is the impact site, a fragment that survived the airburst and buried itself in the mud. But the Russian government isn't letting anyone dig. We don't need to guess what an airburst looks like. We saw one. In 2013, a smaller meteor exploded over Chelyabinsk, Russia. It was captured on 1,000 dash cams. It injured 1,500 people. It was a wake-up call. The rock that hit Tunguska was 100 times more powerful, and we are still blind to objects of that size. Some theories go even further into the unknown. In the 1960s, physicists suggested Tunguska was caused by a small amount of antimatter colliding with our atmosphere. Others suggested a primordial micro-black hole passing through the Earth. These ideas sound like fiction, but they solve the one problem rock theories can't: the total lack of debris. Tunguska isn't just a history lesson, it is a warning shot. NASA estimates there are millions of city-killer asteroids orbiting near Earth. We have mapped only a fraction of them. If a Tunguska-sized rock hit London today, it would kill millions in seconds. And just like in 1908, we wouldn't see it coming until the sky caught fire. We have plausible answers, but no smoking gun. Was it a stony asteroid, a crumbling comet, a nuclear accident from the stars, or a man-made weapon gone wrong? The soil samples are inconclusive, the trees are silent. And the crater, if it exists, is buried under a century of mud and secrecy. The Tunguska event sits at the crossroads of science and mystery. It is a reminder that we live in a cosmic shooting gallery. The next rock is already on its way. The only question is, will we be ready? Or will the sky split open again just like it did on that morning in June?